All right, thanks to everyone that it's joining the Ask Us Anything. We're just going to give everybody another minute or so to join as we see people still joining. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So NMFTA has been doing these every 2 weeks. This is Ask Us Anything. This is where we jump on a call and just give an opportunity for folks to ask anything about the NMFC data changes that we can say are now next week, along with the lookup tool that is out there and the ClassIT Plus changes that are coming out next week. So we're going to do introductions to kick it off. And so I'm Joe Orr, the Chief Operating Officer at NMFTA, and I'll let Holly and Keith introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Holly Taylor. I'm the Director of Product at NMFTA.
Hi, I'm Keith Peterson. I'm Director of Operations at NMFTA.
Okay, thanks, guys. So at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a button that says Q&A. We will go through some slides, but really what this is 90 minutes for folks to ask any questions that they have on the changes. We typically do 60 minutes, but because this is the last one that we're doing prior to launch, and we have been running out of time, but both Holly and Keith really wanted to go 90 minutes to make sure that we got an opportunity to answer all the questions, and I think it's a great idea. So we wanted to go 90 minutes. If we don't have any questions, we'll just wrap it up. But we'll talk about anything related to the classification. So if you have any questions, please use the Q&A button there at the bottom. So again, we're really down now to next week. So on the 21st of April, we launched the NMFC Item Lookup Tool. And that will be out there until next week, because then next week the changes go into effect. ClassIT gets launched on July 15th. And then July 19th, the NMFC data changes go into effect. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. So Holly, I'll let you talk about the resources.
Yeah, some of our key resources we have available are listed here on the screen. So to take a look at some more details regarding the NMFC data changes, go to nmfcchanges.com. The NMFC Item Lookup Tool that Joe just mentioned is located at getclassification.com. It is a free tool, and you can simply register and you'll get access. ClassIT Plus is at classitplus.com. That'll actually take you directly to the website. If you want to find out more information regarding how to use ClassIT Plus or any other resources, including articles and videos, you can go to help.nmfta.org to access our help center. We also have at nmfta.org, we also have product-specific pages. We don't have it listed here, but we also have ClassIT Plus product-specific pages that is full of information as well about the product if you're new to the product. And so please check out any of these resources.
Hey, thanks, Holly. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So one of the things that, and this isn't something we rehearsed, so you'll see me say, "Hey, Holly, can you go ahead and show this?" And then we'll go through some questions because it's something that she'll go ahead and grab. But one of the things that we got questioned on last time was some of the items in the lookup tool, and we thought hey, it's a good idea to come up with sort of a glossary of those terms. And so we want to go ahead and show you what those mean. And so when you get certain responses in the lookup tool, you know what that means. So Holly, can you show everybody how to get to that and maybe walk through those? Because I think that's one of the first questions is what does handling stowability and liability indicator added mean? And then Keith, if you could talk about how that affects classification.
Yeah, so if you just go to our help center, again, help.nmfta.org, and you click on classification, you'll actually go to the NMFC Item Lookup Tool section, and right here are the definitions. Now, you can actually, I'll show you one more thing in a minute. This will list all of the definitions for every single result that you see from the Get Classification tool. So actually, let me just get to the tool really quickly, and I will show you that as well. And actually, Keith, if you want to start talking, I actually have to log into the tool, but go ahead to describe it a bit more.
So I'm sorry, Joe, it looks like the question disappeared. Exactly what was the question about handling stowability and liability? All right, so Joe, Holly, can you still hear me? Joe seemed to
I can,
disappear.
yes. So
the handling stowability, that's all right, Holly, I found it here. So
yeah,
let's move here. So the handling stowability and liability indicator, really handling it doesn't change anything as far as classification. We really just put it on there as a way to easily identify an item that does have handling stowability or liability factors when we looked at the classification of it here. So it is, and oftentimes a quick follow-up question of that is, should that be on the bill of lading? And the answer is no. There's actually been no changes to the bill of lading requirements in 2025-1. So again, it's, currently to find handling stowability and liability indications on an item, you really have to look into the notes and know what you're looking for. This is just a way to make it easier for people to identify these items.
awesome. Thank you, Keith. And this is truly live and unplanned. We did lose Joe for a moment. So just taking a look at the NMFC Item Lookup Tool, if you want to see those definitions as you're doing your search, you can actually click here and it'll take you directly to the Help Center with those definitions as well.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, so since Joe isn't here, we'll just kind of keep going down the list of questions here. So what do we do with in-transit shipments during the change? Ship date or delivery date would prevail for valid class. So yeah, I've heard a lot of different definitions and answers to this question. A lot of the times it has to do with the carrier and how they're handling it here. So what I've heard the most often is just, the changes go into place on July 19th, so next Saturday here. So any loads that are tendered or bill ladings that are sent out should post July 19th should have the updated classification on there. So what I've heard the most often is that if it's a load that's currently in process, it's likely just going to stay the same there. So, okay.
Awesome. I was going to say,
sorry,
do you
go
want me
ahead,
to,
Holly.
I can read them off for you. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
sure.
think you might be doing a lot of talking. These all look on your side. So when an
Yeah.
NMFC is changing and it says full density, does that mean it goes to the 13 tier scale, or does it stay the same at 11?
Yeah, so it's important to realize that even the current full density items that are at 11 sub here are all changing to the 13 tier scale here. So going forward, all items all full density items will be on the 13 tier scale. That's a good question. It's actually one of the proposals in the docket. It was fully moved through, is that we named all the current full density items, and the proposal is to move them to the 13 tier scale. So any items that are full scale density will be on the 13 tier scale. And I got a text from Joe. His internet went out here.
Okay.
So he's working through it.
I feel like you just answered a question a little bit further down, saying, what does full density mean? So you just said full density means it has that 13 tier.
Yeah, but let's just discuss that real quick,
okay,
in case anybody has that out there. So one of the important things we've done with 2025-1 is, we really went through, and it's not that we're done doing it here, but full density basically means that, hey, this is an item that we've determined has no handling, stowability, or liability issues. As a result, with our strategy of making density the primary factor, we've made it full density. So going forward from that point, from July 19th, it's going to be really important to get the dimensions and weight of that freight, determine a density, and assign the class from the full density 13 subscale there. So that's really what it's about there.
Awesome. And there's another one here. I can demo this one. Is there a master downloadable listing of all the NMFC item changes? So we actually do have, if you go to NMFTA.org, click on NMFC, and scroll down to the public dockets. Here you'll find the disposition bulletin. So it's the docket 2025-1 disposition of subjects, and then the FCDC disposition bulletin 1371 spreadsheet. Both of those are available to the public, and this will provide you with the details on all of the approved changes that will be in 2025-1 and that will be effective on July 19th. And then let's see. Someone did say, has anything changed since the last meeting? That can be interpreted in different ways. Last meeting, as in the last webinar, the Ask Us Anything webinar. There have been no changes. We are still, on track for that July 15th release of ClassIT Plus and that July 19th effective date. So if that's the meeting you are asking about, then we are just gathered here to answer more questions and make sure that everyone's prepared, because next week is a very big week. So let's see. What is required to be on the BOL now, the BOL now, in order to be in compliance? Just the dims, and density?
So there's been no changes to the requirements for the bill of lading here. Probably the main thing is, is making sure that you've got your updated item number on there. So starting July 19th. So, and that kind of gets you back to getclassification.com. So, and I think there was another question right below it there, where somebody was asking about 3 certain numbers, and Holly, may be worth it, just looking at Get Classification and making sure people understand how it works on maybe 1 or 2 of these item numbers, just so you can kind of see how, this is at least one way. Yep. So when you look at getclassification.com, it's important that people realize it's really, it's a way just to look up the current item numbers and see if there's any change to that item in 2025-1. So as Holly brings that up, it's not gonna, if you already know the new item number, you're really not gonna be able to search for that new item number in there. It's really just looking for the current item number. So on 150-550, you can see the new item number starting on July 19th. It's going to be 150-560. So 150-550 was canceled. The new item number is 150-560, and the new item is going to be full density here. So, and then 181-812, not part of it. Nothing's changing on 2025-1 for that item. Same thing with 188-210. So, okay. Thanks, Holly.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome back, Joe. Do we need to add the sub
Yeah,
level to
sorry.
the NMFC?
Technical issues.
No worries. So Keith, do we need to add the sub level to the NMFC?
The sub-level here. So that could be taken a couple of different ways here. So, your NMFC item, if you're talking about that, maybe an item underneath a generic heading, it should be the exact item number that you have there. So, if you're talking about classes, yeah, we want you to get dimensions. So either yourself, or if you don't put class in there, the carrier will get dimensions and assign a class appropriately there. So.
And then a couple questions. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, Holly, I don't know if you've answered this, but do you mind showing the calculator?
Oh, we have not shown anything in ClassIT Plus yet.
Okay.
Right. So in ClassIT Plus, we have the calculator. The calculators themselves, the logic behind them has not changed, but we have updated the look and feel. And also from the calculator, you can actually reference a specific item. So you can search for it and let's see one. Hold on one second. Let me find. So if I'm looking for lumber, let me just pull that in. And I don't know why I'm sorry, guys. Looks like luckily we are on the internal site and it does look like maybe I found a bug. Like I said, we are live. Oh, yep. I apologize, guys. This is a bug that actually is fixed in our dev environment. So I can show that. It will just take me a second, Joe, to get to that site.
Okay. While she's doing that, Keith, have the descriptions associated with the new item numbers been released yet? Or is it just the number? So talk a little bit about the docket, how you can get that type of information outside of the lookup tool.
Yeah, so Holly pointed out before where you can get the disposition bulletin. And it's important to understand with this here that, first we come out with the docket, which are all the proposals, including the new descriptions of these. And then we collect feedback, review that feedback, and eventually we make changes according to what we hear in the feedback. Some of it we take, others, other feedback, maybe we don't take and decide to move forward. But anyways, any kind of edits that happen and are eventually approved are in the disposition bulletin. So prior to July 19th, if you're looking for the description of a specific item number, meaning a new item number, the best place to go is go and get the full disposition bulletin. And you can look up the item number that way and find that what it's gonna show as a description after July 19th in ClassIT Plus here. So please understand, this was a huge docket and disposition bulletin. So it's about 700 pages. So the download may take a little bit longer than you used to, but it is in PDF format. But that's probably the best place to go and see it up until July 19th, when you can just look it up on ClassIT Plus here.
Awesome. It looks like we lost Joe again. For the calculator, I do apologize for the glitch, but it is fixed. And so what I was trying to show you was when you're using our calculators, you'll have this section down here where you can actually pull in the item that you're looking at so that you can reference all of the details for that item as you're going through your calculations. So let's see, we can talk a little bit more. Maybe we talk a little bit more about ClassIT Plus here just for a few minutes. and just kind of highlight some of the key features as we wait for Joe. There's Joe's back. Some of the key features for ClassIT Plus, and I'm just going to touch on a couple right here. Obviously, we're all talking about the data and what's changing with 2025-1. So we have what we're calling, this is the What's New page. And on the What's New page, this is where you're always going to find the latest supplement. So this is where you're going to find all of the changes. So we have everything listed down here, everything that's been created, amended, and then canceled. And then as you build out and continue to grow with ClassIT Plus, you will have features like favorites set up. And in your favorites, you will start to see, okay, these are my favorites. These are items I work with every day. How did 2025-1 impact my favorites? Well, when you go and look at your favorites, when you see a tan background and this bell icon, it means that it's been amended. And this bell icon means that it's listed on the What's New page. And if I actually click that bell icon, it'll take me directly to that item so that I can see it, so I can read more about it. If an item has been changed or sorry, canceled or canceled with a reference, then you would have noticed some of these are red. If it's canceled, it'll be red and crossed out, and clicking on that bell icon will again take you directly to that item. And you can see here that it's been canceled with a reference. And so you're going to see the item that replaced it. So this is just a really easy way for you to see the changes when they go and when they go effective. We have the issue date here. We have the effective date. This will be standard moving forward for all of our releases, for all of our supplements. And you all will always have this notification. It is enabled by default. This bell icon, anywhere you see it throughout the application, means that there's been a change. If you want to have those notifications sent to you by email, you can simply go into your profile and set up that notification so that you can actually receive it by email, which is what I did right here. So welcome back, Joe.
Thanks. Holly, so one of the things I want to make sure we cover is about, what will happen on Monday. The ClassIT Plus users will get emails. What exactly will they need to do? We've talked about Okta, but can you explain a little bit about what Okta is? Let's really dive into the process.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Monday, we're going to start transitioning all of the users. So if we have any company admins on the call today, then most of you have already received your Okta activation email. So you will get an email from Okta, and it will include in there instructions on how to activate your login for ClassIT Plus. So you'll simply follow those instructions and it'll guide you through. It'll take like 30 seconds to set up. And once you get your Okta activation set up, you will then be able to log into classitplus.com. And we do have details on this in the Help Center. So we have, let me go back to the Help Center here. If you go to ClassIT Plus, underneath Getting Started, we have a full list of training videos. If right in here, we have logging into ClassIT Plus. So if you have any interest, if you need to quickly learn something, all of these videos are fantastic. They're 30 to 60 seconds. They'll walk you through it. Super simple. This logging into ClassIT Plus video will actually walk you through that quick Okta activation and getting you access to ClassIT Plus. So I strongly encourage anyone who has any questions to watch this video. You can also go to the article right here that's referencing it so that you can read about it if you choose to read about it, learn more about logging in. And then again, this video will be here on that page as well. So for anyone out there who has questions about Monday and Tuesday, by the end of Monday, all of our users, company admins and our non-company admin users will have received that Okta activation email. If you do not receive that Okta activation email, I want you to do a couple of different things. I want you to ask yourself, have I ever ever access scatcode.com. Scatcode.com is our SCAC application, and that's another one of our products. That product uses the exact same login. And what's great about that is if you are someone who uses several of our products, if you activate your Okta login for one product, it's going to be active for all products. So for SCAC and ClassIT Plus, because we use Okta, if you currently have a login to SCAC, then you already have your login for ClassITplus.com. So if you do not receive an email on Monday, that could be one of the reasons. So then if you ask yourself, you know what, I actually don't access SCAC, I've never heard of it, it's not something that I've ever purchased. So then I want you to check all of your spam folders, your filters, make sure that you didn't automatically have that no reply at Okta, I believe it's okta.com email, inadvertently diverted to a different inbox for yourself or to spam or something like that. And if you still don't see that email, then obviously reach out to support. But again, everyone should get that by the end of day Tuesday in preparation for, end of day Monday in preparation for Tuesday. And then between now and Tuesday, I strongly encourage you to go out to our help.nmfta.org, go to ClassIT Plus, and take a look at the Help Center. Take a look at these videos. If you are a company admin, please watch these videos, learn more about what you can do and how you can help your users. The great thing about ClassIT Plus is we have this company admin's role, and this admin role is really a benefit for your company and your other users. You can then assist your other users if they have issues like resetting their password or making sure that they have a license. And so I just really want to encourage everyone to watch these videos and check them out.
Okay. So what number or email can people use if they want to, whether they want to get ClassIT Plus API, learn about the integration, or if they just want to buy the UI, what email or phone number should they utilize?
So, sorry, you broke up a little bit. So you're asking how can they get assistance with purchasing the product? So if you need any assistance, ClassIT Plus was built to be really intuitive. So if you know you want to purchase it, I'm actually going to log out right here, and you just have to go to classitplus.com and you can actually walk through and purchase it. This is the web application, this is the API. If you want to purchase both and do a bundle to save money, then you can do that yourself. If you have any questions, all you have to do is simply contact support. So support can be reached by, you can go to nmfta.org/contact, and right here are the phone numbers. This is our line to our customer service. If you want to fill out a form and just explain to them what you need, they'll get back to you via email. And then obviously we have the Help Center. And we lost Joe again. Let's see. Should we just start at the top again, Keith?
Yep, let's do it. Let's get through some
Okay.
of the questions here.
As a broker, we have a wide variety of customers with thousands of NMFCs that we deal with. Is there a simple way to understand the biggest impacts these changes will have without having to go one by one through the lookup tool? The definitions do not say whether the impact is a positive or negative to our customers.
So a couple of things there, right? So the Git classification tool that we pointed out before, you actually can upload a spreadsheet to it. You're going to want to make sure that the current item number is in column A on it, because that's where it's going to be looking. But that does give you the ability to have it take a look at a lot of item numbers all at once and return back a response on them there. And we've actually tested that, and it's pretty quick. It doesn't take long to do that. The definitions, and really, I mean, they're not going to say whether the impact is positive or negative, because you know, especially since so much of this is based on density, you know, and that can be affected by packaging, how the handling unit is being prepared for shipment. So, you know, it really, it's really going to depend, you know, on how things are prepared for shipment, basically. And there's going to be different, you know, as much as some things are going to stay the same, some may be less dense and get a higher class, and other times it may be even more dense than what it was assigned before and get a lower class as well. So, so it's not, you know, I don't, we don't have that tool to understand the positive and negative impacts on individual items here.
So, Holly, some of the questions have to do with license agreements and registration for ClassIT to ClassIT Plus and end of life for ClassIT. Maybe you can walk through what that looks like.
Yeah, so as you transition from ClassIT to ClassIT Plus, when your company admin first logs in, they'll be prompted to read through the license agreement just to acknowledge it. We have had a few updates to it, and it's just so you'll acknowledge it to continue accessing the product. So ClassIT and ClassIT Plus are two distinctly different products. So that is why we are asking you to acknowledge the new license agreement. And this is for our web users. So again, the web users will automatically transition over. You'll just simply have to acknowledge the license agreement. We just want you to read it. So it's whichever company admin logs in first, they'll be asked to do that. The current ClassIT site will remain available through November 15th. And the thing that you really need to understand about that is it will remain available, but it will remain available in its current state. We are not updating the data. You will not have access to 2025-1 from the current ClassIT site. 2025-1 is only accessible from ClassIT Plus. Why are we doing this? We've had several customers request that we, leave it up because they want to be able to have a little bit of a grace period. If they have customers that are still entering an old number, they'll be able to check, the current ClassIT system and be like, oh, well, they're just using the number from 2 weeks ago. We'll educate them. We'll give them this grace period and we'll tell them what their new number is. And then we'll expect that, we'll expect in the future that they use the new number. So really, we're just leaving this open, the current ClassIT available for you guys so that you'll have access as you transition, not only to the new product, but also to the data updates. And I think that was all of the questions. If you're an API subscriber, if you're a current ClassIT API subscriber, yes, you automatically will transition to ClassIT Plus and the new API free of charge. The only thing you have to do is sign the license agreement. So most likely, if you are a current ClassIT API subscriber, someone from our customer support staff has already reached out to you and has asked you to review the license agreement and sign it. And then once it's signed, you'll get access to the API and you'll be able to transition right over free of charge because again, we're honoring your current subscription. So the key here is your current subscription. We're honoring it through until your expiration date. So if you currently have a ClassIT product with us and it expires, let's say in September, we will transition you over to ClassIT Plus, and then you'll just have to renew in September. So you'll essentially get access to both products until you renew.
Okay. Keith, can talk about from a shipper perspective, the questions about, hey, I'm new, or does a shipper need ClassIT Plus? So I know we've targeted a lot of the shipper conferences. So can you talk a little bit about the shipper perspective and what they need to do to prepare for the classification changes and whether or not they need ClassIT Plus?
Yeah, so as a shipper, and it's important to realize, number one, that Classification is always changing. Up until this year, we've done 3 dockets a year here. We're only doing 2 this year, and we're determining what to do best going forward here. So it is good to have a subscription to ClassIT Plus here, because as Holly was talking about, you can set your favorites. It could be your particular commodities that you produce and ship as well here. And it's going to help you stay on top of any kind of changes that are out there. And it's not just the item numbers as well here. There are rules within the NMFC. I see a lot of questions about bill of lading in here, and even some questions around mixed commodities, basically, that are part of the NMFC as well, that are really important to know. And one of the great things about ClassIT Plus is that it's going to alert people when these changes are coming and make it really easy to go out and see exactly what is changing. So I think it's very much worth it to have a subscription to the site here.
Keith, can you talk? I know we talked quite a bit about it, but a palette of mixed items and how to classify that, and maybe talk a little bit about how that may change moving forward.
Yeah, so I'll start with this. There are no changes to any rules in 2025-1 here. And yes, item 640, or the mixed freight rule, is out there. We had our hands full in just getting 99 proposals out here. So, however, with what our strategy is here going forward, making density the primary characteristic, we are starting to review a lot of those rules to make sure that they match up with what our strategy is going forward. So something like mixed freight, in a way, we've started addressing it already by making so many items that would be on a pallet full density. Now, it could be 2 separate item numbers, but the density is going to be, it still makes it a little bit difficult, but we are addressing it in a way, but it is something that we're looking at going forward here to make sure that these rules match up with what we're trying to do going forward here. So expect some more information on that here in the future here.
Okay. And Keith, what's the difference between full density and full density updated from 11 to 13 subs?
Okay. So kind of talked about this before here, but currently, prior to the effective date for 2025-1, any of our items, and there's about 100 or so that are already at full density. So that's an item that we determined could just be put on our full density scale here. And currently it's at 11 subs. And what's important to realize is that in 2025-1, we moved all current full density items, and of course added a lot more items to full density as well here. But the scale itself, we moved from 11 to 13 subs. And we did that by adding classes 50 and 55. There were many items that were either single class or modified density scale because they were very heavy, dense items that just didn't fit on the full density scale before, the 11 sub scale. So it was important for us to add in classes 50 and 55, make it 13 subs, and being able to take those items and make them full density going forward here.
Okay. There's some questions about the various TMS systems and updating the NMFC in bulk. And so talk about, Holly, can you talk about the partnership with the TMS, or at least how the APIs work with the TMSs?
Yeah, so if you are working with a TMS, the relationship is this. We would have a relationship with you. You would purchase our API, and you would then obviously you have your relationship with your TMS. So once you establish your relationship with us and you purchase the API, you could then actually share the credentials for the API with your TMS, and your TMS could then use our API to pull in that data for you, for your company. You can fill out a third-party consent form that would allow us to talk to the TMS on your behalf if you wanted us to. If you were going through the integration and you wanted us to work with the TMS and share your credentials, we could certainly do that. So the API, it is really that our relationship with is with you, our customer. And then if you choose to leverage a TMS, then you can use that API with that TMS. We allow a couple times a year. Obviously, it's based on when our updates are available. We do allow these like bulk or batch processing so that you can pull in updates at a faster pace. It is only available for a short window around when those updates are becoming effective, so that you can go out there, you can grab the updates, and then you can have your system updated. So this year it will be available twice. It's available with -1 and it'll be available with -2. And we also do allow that local caching. So this batch process would allow you, again, to just go out there and grab the updates, just grab what you need. And it's a fairly smooth and quick process.
Okay. So it says, I've noticed when using the lookup tool, in some cases, the new NMFC is not in ClassIT to see what that actually shows. So maybe we can explain. I don't know if I'm answering this exactly as asked, but maybe we can talk about what's in the lookup tool, that it's only 2025-1. Maybe you guys interpret that question a little bit different than that, but maybe we can talk, Keith, about what exactly in the lookup tool versus what in the existing ClassIT, and be you
Yeah.
interpret that question different.
So I interpret it a little bit differently. It sounded to me like the person that had asked it was using it and seeing a new item number, right? And then possibly looking for that item number in ClassIT or ClassIT. So keep in mind that the new updated item numbers won't be effective in ClassIT Plus until July 19th. If you need to go see the description, as we talked about before, you should go to the disposition bulletin. Or just know that starting on July 19th, that new item number will now be effective within ClassIT Plus. You'll be able to look it up that way. We don't make it available in ClassIT Plus or even in the NMFC until that actual effective date here. And just to kind of answer Joe's question fully, so it just, you can search for any current item number within the Get Classification tool here, but the search does have to be by current item number. It is meant to be a way to look up your current item number and see what may be happening with it in 2025-1. It will respond back with what the new item number will be, but again, that is not effective until July 19th.
And Keith, where would somebody go to look up item numbers that not the 2020, if they wanted to use Get Classification, to look up what may change in 2025-1? Where would they get the item numbers?
Maybe I don't understand the question there, but if they don't know their item number, right, their current item number for their commodity here, there's a couple ways. Of course, you can go into ClassIT today here if you have a subscription to it. Another way you can do that, and it's, of course, we're getting right down to it at this point here, but we do have an interpretations team where you can actually purchase interpretations and provide some information on the commodity. And within 2 business days, they'll get back to you with the information that's needed on that as well here. So.
Okay. Holly, I know, so we've changed the license model. And it's always really been, one should have been one license, per user, but the license model is going to be enforced in the new ClassIT Plus. Can you talk about how the license model is going to work, and how someone will add licenses per the admin?
Yeah, so in current ClassIT, I know it's no secret, people will share logins. So you'll have one login and it's shared amongst 5 people or more. In ClassIT Plus, that will not be allowed. Using Okta, the Okta login is unique to the person logging in. You must use the credentials that are established during the Okta activation, and they are unique to that email address. And if you add another layer of protection to that login, that person will actually have to confirm their login through a code, through this, different ways. I do mine with my face. Okta, I have the app on my phone, it pops up and I do a face, so it verifies that it's me. And that's how I log into ClassIT Plus. So it is one license per user. So there's no sharing of licenses. And the great thing is the more licenses you buy, the greater your discount. So we do, as you're purchasing ClassIT Plus, we do give you discounts for additional licenses that you purchase. Your company administrator can actually go into your company settings page and go to your subscription and purchase additional licenses. So if you are a current ClassIT subscriber and you only have one license, but you have 5 people using it, what will happen is your company admin can go into your subscription in ClassIT Plus, can purchase those 4 additional licenses, and it'll actually be prorated. So if your expiration date is 6 months away, we're actually going to prorate it based on those 6 months that you have left, because we want all of the licenses to expire at the same time. It's one subscription. So all of your licenses will be expiring at the same time that your subscription does. So if you purchase licenses, if you're like, man, what do I do? I expire in 6 weeks and I'm going to purchase a license now, and now I'm going to have these licenses with different expiration dates. Nope, that's not going to happen. You're going to go into ClassIT Plus. You're going to purchase that license. You're going to have that prorated rate. And then in 6 weeks, when you renew, you're going to renew all your licenses, and they're always going to have that same expiration date. And your company admin can do all of this straight from ClassIT Plus. If you have someone leave the company or leave a role and they don't need access to ClassITplus.com, your company admin can easily go in there and unassign that license and then give that license to the person who is replacing them or to someone else who needs access to ClassIT Plus. These licenses aren't locked down to that person. So if that person leaves the company, your company admin, they just have to go in there, delete the person from the system, remove that license, and now you have a free license. So when you hire that new person or whatever, you have someone else come in, you can give them a license as well.
Okay. Keith, with different palettes, with different densities, how does each class show up on the BOL?
So, and I want to reiterate, there's no changes to any bill of lading requirements coming in 2025-1. So number 1 here. On the bill of lading, you should have a description of the freight here. Generally you do that by what we typically refer to it as handling units, meaning this is this unit that's prepared for shipment here. So and you should follow the requirements by handling is really what's looked for there. So, okay.
Okay. And then Keith, we got a question. It's, maybe just explain it a little, just one more time as far as how they should, what currently classify it. Should it just be density, just to make sure everybody's got a clear answer. Do they go with the higher rated item? Just maybe one more time talk about a mixed skid.
You were kind of going in and out there, Joe. Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm not sure I got the full
A
question.
mixed. Yeah, talk maybe one more time about a mixed commodity on one pallet.
Sure. I mean, generally with mixed commodities, right? And again, that rule is not changing with 2025-1. But as you look through it here, and if you have multiple items here, the higher density item, meaning the higher class here, should be used for when it goes to that here. Okay.
Okay. And Holly, can you show how to upload a spreadsheet in the item lookup tool?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is pretty simple. All you have to do is click the load items from the file and it'll open up your Explorer, and you'll just go out and you'll find your file that you want to upload. And once you do that, give me 1 second, let me find it. And once you do that, it'll actually pull in and give you the results that you need. And so you can, instead of just searching one by one, you can easily go in there and search, here's the results. I just pulled in a spreadsheet and I was able to hundreds of items in one pull. So I can see my results fairly quickly. So if I have a list of items, if I have 500 items, I know that my customers use, whatever, pull that list in and you'll get all of the results here. And I would like to say, I did see a question pop in that said something about what does the result mean when it says not in 2020, no changes, or not in 2025-1? That simply means that there are no changes. So if you get the result that says not in 2025-1, then it will actually, item is not part of 2025-1. It means that the item has not changed and it's not part of the update. It doesn't mean that the item's going away. It just means there's no changes. So if you get the item is not part of 2025-1, just know that there are no changes to your item.
Hey, so the next question is, Keith, can you talk about FAKs?
Well, I can say that FAKs really, they aren't part of the NMFC here. It is typically an agreement between a shipper and a carrier, or part of a carrier's tariffs. So, really, as far as the NMFC is concerned, that it's not part of the NMFC here, and what and how these changes may affect FAKs. Now, as you look at FAKs here, by making so many items full scale density, it could change kind of how some of these FAKs look, but that is really something between a shipper and a carrier. What is likely important to remember when it comes to FAKs is that, they are built around, reducing the risk around, density and the, how item, reducing the risk on the density of that item and assigning the class appropriately here. So, it's going to be interesting to see what type of effect these changes and the changes going forward making density of a primary characteristic of this freight is going to have on FAKs that are out there.
Okay. How do you know if you need to add the sub, Keith?
So again, I think that I thought we had gotten through that one there before here, but so I mean we're if we're talking about subs on items here, item numbers like a sub in a generic heading or something like that, we're actually making our way around a lot of that by condensing down those generic headings here. Eventually we want to make it so that even within generic headings, there's very few sub items in there. And it would be only items that have handling, stowability, and liability issues here. So I'm not sure exactly the context of that question here. So doing my best to answer it here.
Okay. Is there a Q&A place where we can read all the ClassIT to ClassIT plus license information? So, Holly, can you maybe go through where all our knowledge based type information is?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to our Help Center, click on ClassIT Plus, and you can see an entire section on transitioning to ClassIT Plus. You can also see our pricing and licensing. So you can go in here and just read a quick little purpose of each license, and then you can actually download a sample of the license as well.
Okay. And all of that is at help.nmfta.org.
Correct.
Holly, maybe back up a couple pages and just kind of show how to get to that help center.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can get to the Help Center in multiple ways. Help.nmfta.org is the landing page. You can go, if you're in ClassIT Plus, you can click on the Help Center link at the bottom. Or if you are in, let me go to ClassIT, let me go to nmfta.org. Let me see if actually if you're here, even if you're here, you're in the any one of our .org pages, you can simply go to Contact and click on Search Our Help Center. And it'll take you right here. And then ClassIT Plus is the product you're looking for. And then the product page is divided into different categories and sections. And you can just scroll down and find the transition and the ClassIT Plus. And you can scroll through and see more about them. You can also, follow each page and learn more. If you want to follow them, then you'll actually get notifications when something is updated.
Okay. Keith, my NMFC is not changing, but when I use the tool, the note says full density. Can you explain?
So it could be just kind of off the top of my head here from that question. It could be a case where an item was already full scale density. Okay. But however, keep in mind, while the item number may not be changing, we're changing it from 11 subscale to 13 subscale. So keep that in mind here. So there, again, you may not have a new item number, but it could be changing from 11 to 13. So.
Okay. And then Keith, just a follow-up. It says, I think the question is NMFC prefix plus sub to support density class selection.
Sure. If you're getting that far into it, you should be using the full prefix and sub there as well here. So.
Okay. Shouldn't a bill of lading have the NMFC number, the sub, and class on all?
So I see a lot of questions in here around bill of lading, and even some where carriers are requiring, for instance, the item number, class, and that stuff. So, and again, keep in mind, there are no changes as far as the NMFC when it comes to bill of lading requirements here. Beyond carriers, there's even shipper TMSs that are now requiring item number, DIMs, or dimensions, weight, that information to be entered in, even just to even put a load on their network, for instance, now here. So I would expect we'll see more and more of that here. So if you can get to like an item number, a class, beyond the general description of the item number and how many handling units are on it and the weight, you should definitely work to get that onto the bill of lading here.
In the downloaded list that Holly showed, what does article versus note mean?
Ooh. That's to me, isn't it? So I didn't see that.
And I
there,
saw
so.
the note added, but I don't know if I saw where it said article. So
Yeah,
Holly, you
sure.
may have to look at the glossary.
What were we looking for?
It says in the downloaded list, what does article versus note mean?
Okay, let's see.
So if a note was added, so let's start with that, Keith. Explain what it means that a note was added, because
So
I know we spent a
I'm
lot
gonna
of time on that.
so when it comes to the
That
NMFC
is,
here, right? A note is kind of like some clarification or guidance that can apply in a few different ways. There could be commodity notes, packaging notes, rule notes. So it's just like an extra note or some clarification on the main part of it there. So and when you start looking at articles in the NMFC, you're getting more into specific commodity descriptions that are assigned to these different item numbers here. So, um, uh, like packaging requirements, those handling instructions, those type of things. So, uh, so so I hope that helps, and the same thing is going to be within the lookup tool itself. Keep in mind the lookup tool is something that we did within a weekend here. And so we tried to make it as quick and simple as possible. It is not meant to replace ClassIT or ClassIT Plus either here. And really within there, we were just notating that there was maybe a change to a note or an article, so you will see that in there, and it's just giving a brief explanation of what's happening to it within 2025-1.
one of the questions.
You are breaking up really bad, Joe.
Sorry. One of the questions has to do with, do I need to keep checking the tool for changes? And the answer is no. Keith explained how often we make changes and what the schedule looks like.
I think the question was around, how often we make changes to the NMFC and what the schedule looks like. I think in the end, Joe, right?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go forward with
Yeah.
that here. So historically, we've made, there goes Joe again here. Historically, we've had 3 dockets per year, and just really, you break it up into about once every 4 months or so. This year, we're only having 2 dockets because of the size of 2025-1. 2025-2, we're going to have another docket out here. And before anybody panics, it's not going to be as large as -1. That took us almost a year to create and put together here. And we just don't have that much time to do that again here. So 2025-2 should be released later on in August, and then we'll start taking feedback on it. And we'll have our FCDC meeting right at the end of September. And then it'll become effective, more towards the end of this year here. So A good thing to do for anybody is go to NMFC changes, and there's a section in there where you can sign up for any kind of updates regarding the NMFC. And anytime we release dates or hey, there's a new docket, you'll get an email on that so that you'll be notified of it. And of course, you can sign up for ClassIT Plus, and that'll start giving out notifications as well here, especially if you have something favorited as well. Welcome back, Joe.
Thanks. Sorry. Enter is today. Description classifications changed or just an NMFTA item number.
Oh,
Hey,
I think
Joe.
that was to you.
I'm gonna say, Joe, we can't hear you, so we're just gonna
Yeah.
start. We're gonna take on some of these questions. So I did see a few of these floating around about ClassIT versus ClassIT Plus. So yes, they are different tools. They are both subscription based. ClassIT Plus is a completely new rebuilt product that takes ClassIT just several steps further, modernizes it. It's built on a very secure and modern platform. We're providing a lot of additional tools such as favorites, the what's new. You'll be able to access your search history. You'll be able to have make comments and share things within your team, and so it's a very collaborative tool. The current ClassIT is a search tool that you search the data and you get your results. It's been a great tool. We've just taken it a step further to really push that collaborative effort amongst your teammates and provide tools for yourself so that you can easily find things like favorites and things that you've searched for in the past, such as search history, and obviously giving you greater insight into the data and when it changes. We really want to empower you to have the knowledge to be more efficient with your processes, making sure that you have the correct data and the correct NMFC numbers at all times. Someone also asked where can I find that tool that we've been talking about? That is the NMFC Item Lookup Tool, and on your screen right here, it is at getclassification.com. So so there was that, and welcome back, Joe.
Yeah, I'll let you guys keep asking the questions. I have a very unstable internet.
Okay. And then someone did ask, where can I get access to that calculator? That calculator is accessible in both ClassIT and ClassIT Plus. So if you're a current subscriber, you can access the calculator. Let's see. We have a few more questions here. And it does say for better understanding, you need to have your NMFC number looked up first before you can use the calculator to get that correct class. So right now, the calculator is literally just a guide. It is a tool for you to be able to, I think of it as a reference tool. You'll be able to put in your dimensions to get that calculation, and then you'll reference the item. And so we are not actually going to make any suggestions about what class you should be using based on your calculations right now. It is simply the calculation. You'll get your calculations, and then you'll have the reference to that item that you searched and looked up so that you can make a better decision. So that is how it's working right now. We do have a feature request for the future where we can actually make those suggestions. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Let's see. There's some of these we've already answered, so I'm going to scroll down a bit to get to some of these that have come in more recently. And if I have ClassIT and I haven't been reached out to regarding signing the agreement for ClassIT Plus, who should I reach out to? Well, my question will be, if you have ClassIT, let's make sure that you get transitioned over to ClassIT Plus. Again, if you are the only person who has ClassIT, so it's a one license, that means you're automatically that company admin, and you should have received your Okta activation email. If you have not received that email, please reach out to customer support and let them know. If you are a user, a non-company admin user, your access will be coming soon and you'll get that access by Tuesday. If you are a non-company admin user, you will not actually have access to the license agreement. So, so that is something that your company admin would be able to access. The license agreement are always available. So if you are a company admin and you go into company settings and click on manage subscription, you'll actually have access to the license agreement right there in your subscription. So you'll always be able to view it and see it at any time. Let's see, we have we do have someone that they mistakenly deleted the Okta email that was sent. How do we get that email resent? If you want to reach out, I can actually make note well, it's your boss. So actually have your boss reach out to us through customer support. And what we'll do is we'll have to resend that activation for you. If they deleted it and can find it in their deleted folder, I strongly encourage it, but otherwise you'll have to reach out to customer support. Let's see. And yep, they answered themselves. We don't have any subscription for ClassIT. And then, oh, we answered this, but we are a shipper. Is this beneficial? So sorry, Keith, we kind of already answered that. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to it. It's not mandatory.
That's true. I'm actually typing in there right now
Perfect.
the address for the store to purchase an interpretation if they'd like to look at doing it that
awesome.
way as well. Yeah, so
fantastic. Let's see. We are subscribers to ClassIT. Where can we put in our NMFC number to see if it has changed? That is the tool. That is at getclassification.com. And so you can use that tool to see if it will change. And then if it is changing, ClassIT Plus will have all of the details about all of the changes. So let's say, for example, that using the getclassification.com tool, it shows that a note has been amended and you're like, well, what was the change to the note? Well, in ClassIT Plus, we will actually show you what the change to the note is. So you'll be able to see the latest data in ClassIT Plus. A lot of these are from earlier, so I apologize if we are repeating ourselves. I just want to make sure we answer some of these. In the lookup tool, my item had a note saying item is not part of. We answered that one. So again, if it says item is not part of, it just simply means that there were no changes. Are item description classifications changing, or is it just the item number and the full density classification? So Keith, you want to take that one?
In many cases, both the item number and descriptions are changing. Keep in mind when we condense down these generic headings, that naturally changed the description. We still kept all those descriptive terms that are in there, so people can still go searching it for that item number. So that resulted in a lot of changes to descriptions as well there.
All right, thank you. Let's discuss this one again. Where can I access the most up-to-date docket 2025-1 being implemented? Keith is actually typing that answer. So again, we have all of that out on our website. So if you go to NMFTA.org and you click on NMFC and then scroll down to the bottom right, you're going to see a list of additional links. And right here is that public dockets link. And this page will have all of the latest information. You're going to get that disposition of subjects. That's the PDF. You're going to get the spreadsheet, which is that full list of all of the changes.
And keep in mind to finish off that question is that the next docket won't be out until later on in August here. So there's not a -2, a 2025-2 docket out yet. So, but go sign up for notifications so that you know when it's out for you there. So.
Perfect. And I do have someone asking, how do you bookmark in ClassIT Plus? So in ClassIT Plus, we actually have both bookmarks and favorites. So I'm going to show you both of those. Under My Resources, you can go to the NMFC book. You can also access it from your tile. The NMFC book is where we call what we have bookmarks, and those bookmarks are for the PDFs that are available to view. So if you have a specific supplement that you would like that you access a lot, you can come in here, you can bookmark it, and then that will be available on in the bookmarked section here on the NMFC book page. If you want to favorite something, if you want to search for, if you have a search that you like to perform a lot, and this is the result you're looking for, you can actually click on the More Options icon, and anywhere in ClassIT Plus that you see this star icon, that's the favorite. I can also access that by in several places. If I click on the item number to read it, to like maybe print or email it, I also have that favorite option right here. If I want to remove the favorite, all I have to simply do is click it again and it will remove it. So that is how you favorite. Again, you just click on that More and you favorite it. And then the minute you favorite it, it becomes part of your My Favorites. So that'll be accessible from your dashboard or from the My Resources menu. And we have, let's see. I know the answer to this one, but I'm gonna throw it over to Keith. Are there items that will be using the 18-tier scale?
So the full density scale. So keep in mind, we haven't changed anything as far as the full density scale. The full scale density 13 sub is just a way to make that a little bit, a little bit simpler to use there. So I gotta admit, I don't know exactly. That's something I'm gonna have to check on here. So because as far as 2025-1, no. So I'm just wondering about the rest of the book here. So I don't believe so, but I got to double check on that one, everybody. So
that's what I thought my answer would be too, by the way. So Keith, you and I are on the same page. So, yeah. But yeah, okay. So I am a subscriber to ClassIT. I got my email, but when I logged in just now, I only see the SCAC app, not the ClassIT Plus app on my Okta login. Why would that be? So we can reach out to support and make sure that that everything that on the back end, everything is good and that the activation went through. So if you want to provide additional details and reach out to support, maybe provide did you need to complete the full activation? Sounds like you have access to SCAC, so perhaps there might be an issue there, or that might be something we look into. So please reach out to customer support and we'll help you with that.
Just a quick update. I'm being told that no items use the full 18 sub density scale in the NMFC. So, okay.
Awesome. Can we get a copy of this webinar recording? And absolutely. So I just want to kind of highlight some of our resources. So again, if you go to, they can be found in a couple of different places, but if you go to the Help Center, we have a bunch of videos, but also if you remember earlier, we were looking at classitplus.nmfta.org. This is our main product page that has a bunch of really useful information. And on here, we have this resources menu, and we have all of the on-demand or previously recorded videos such as this one. So you can come out here and rewatch any of our webinars, and this specific webinar will be posted there in a few days. You can also go out there and see, we had a live demo, a 60-minute demo back on May 7th You can watch any of our other webinars we've had in the past, including our API masterclass. And then here you can also access those training videos. And so just like in the Help Center, you can access this. I really like to point out that our YouTube channel, we have dedicated playlists. So if you go to the playlist option here, you're going to see a company admin series and then the user series. And these videos are going to continue to grow. We'll continue to reshape our playlists so that they're as beneficial as possible to you guys. And so just, leverage these resources. We got some really great information out here as we're all getting prepared for next week. And then how do I access the previous docket to review items not part of 2025-1?
Need to have a license to ClassIT for that.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
ClassIT Plus.
Yeah, so in ClassIT Plus, that NMFC book resource that we were just looking at, again, this is where you're going to find, you'll actually have access to 5 years worth of supplements so that you can go and look at anything in the past. So again, it's 5 years. If for some reason you're doing a deeper dive and you're going past that 5 years, you just, you can request access. Let's see. We have a few minutes left. Do you see anything out there that we haven't talked about yet, Keith?
Well, there's a lot of questions left out there.
I know. I feel like I'm struggling a little bit because a lot of them I feel like we've answered, but let's just dive into one. I know you said
Sure.
there are no changes to the BOL requirements, yet at least one of our carriers has communicated that pallet dimensions, gross weight, NMFC, and freight class are now required. Is that a carrier rule?
It sounds like the carrier is saying that they would like to have that information from you there. And keep in mind, I'm actually seeing that requirement from TMSs as well out there and 3PLs. So it's going to become more and more common, especially since we're making density the primary characteristic of this here. It's a great chance to kind of take a really good look at how your freight is being prepared for shipment as well. And is there a better way to do that to maybe even get it more dense and get a more favorable class as well here? Yeah.
And then we have someone just seeking advice on what the industry standard is for formatting the NMFC and its subclass. Would it appear as, for example, 63321-01?
Sure. Yeah, so that is a standard. I think there was another question in there that I typed back on there as well, where should I put it that way, or should I actually call out the class, for instance, like 175, right? And either way is standard. I've always kind of preferred actually seeing the class to make sure that there's no interpretation issue there, but that way is standard there. So yeah.
And I do have someone asking, how often should we check back for potential changes to our item numbers? So someone is saying that, oh, my item numbers aren't on 2025-1, so there aren't any changes, but how often should we be checking back? So I do, I do know a little bit about this. So
Right.
Keith, jump
Well,
in.
yeah,
I mean,
let me talk about this ClassIT Plus. But of course, that will be alerting to you when there are changes if you have a license
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
But as far as checking back, again, I always suggest people go and get signed up for notifications. And you can get that from nmfcchanges.com. There's a place where you can go in there and sign up for notifications. So when a new docket comes out, or even the disposition bulletin gets released, you get notified. And and it's not as slick as ClassIT Plus, but you can go in and search for your item number there. And again, keeping in mind that this is our largest docket ever, -1 here. So, and dockets aren't going to be 99 proposals going forward. So it'll be a lot easier to find your item number in, dockets going forward. So,
Yeah, and there's a theme here. Our goal is to always keep you updated. So, these tools, these key resources are really what you want to take advantage of to constantly be alerted and aware of changes. So, nmfcchanges.com, sign up there. You'll get those updates every time we do any. We do this year. We're doing data updates twice. So, and then in ClassIT Plus, you have those what's new alerts, go in there, get those set up so that you get those emails. NMFTA.org will always keep you updated. You can start by going there as well and just reading more about the products and signing up for ways to stay up to date. So we are coming to the end here soon. Joe, anything else? Anything that you've seen that maybe we should answer?
No, I think that about covers it. I think we want to, hopefully people can hear me. I think we want to maybe cover what about next week. We are available next week during the changes. We will, starting over the weekend, be available the weekend and that Monday pretty much 24/7. And so if you have any challenges, please feel free to reach out to us. We know there'll be a lot of things that come up, so we're here to help. Holly, Keith, any last words?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you haven't received an Okta email yet, and you are a company admin, please reach out to customer support. Otherwise, just give it a few days. By the 15th, everyone will receive their Okta activation emails. We have another round of transitioning users over from ClassIT to ClassIT Plus on Monday. And it's not instantaneous. It does take several hours. So if you don't have that email by Monday night, Tuesday morning when you log in, please reach out and we'll get you access.
Keith?
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to come on to these here. So it's always great to get some of these questions. Some I've never even thought of before here. Some I haven't heard. So thanks, everybody, for taking the time to come on here and listen to us and ask questions. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you all. We appreciate your time. And again, this is being recorded and will be posted. And if you have anything else, please let us know. We will be monitoring everything very closely next week. Thanks all.
Bye, everyone.